Hey everyone, it's Fentony. The big finale for season 1 of His Dark Materials has just aired on the BBC. As always, I will be talking about spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, just be careful for that. Remember, the episode doesn't air in the United States and other parts of the world until tomorrow night. So the episode was called Betrayal, likely referring to Azrael cutting Roger's demon from him to create power for the device to open a window to another world. He betrayed Lyra, his own daughter. But you could also argue that Lyra feels that she betrayed Roger because she brought him to Lord Azrael. This is the last episode of the season, but they have confirmed season 2 will air next year, and I will be covering that, so make sure you subscribe, ring the bell to turn the notifications on to get all the videos. So this episode was actually smaller than I expected. I was expecting a massive battle between the Magisterium and the Armoured Bears, maybe witches and Egyptians as well, but I preferred it this way. Sometimes TV shows go for a grand spectacle over writing, but they done it good this time. They kept the story on Lyra, Lord Azrael and Mrs. Coulter, and of course Roger. I'm telling myself it's clever writing, but you could argue it's budget reasons, but whatever, it worked. And I did cheer when Yorick rallied the other bears, but they had to keep the story focused on Lyra and Roger, on Lord Azrael. But I think they've done an amazing job this season of making us care for these CGI characters. Who didn't have something in their eye when Lyra said goodbye to Yorick? I could honestly watch a series based on just them two, and Lee Scoresby as well. I could watch that all day. I was worried about the show's portrayal of Yorick, as he is my favourite character from the books, but they definitely delivered. I hope we see more of him in season 2, as I don't think he's in book 2, but with how they're crossing over the books, I think we'll see him. Plus he's incredibly popular. They've already included elements of the Subtle Knife book 2 into season 1, which is majority based on Northern Lights book 1. And the Subtle Knife is the shortest book in the series, so it's likely the books are going to overlap. So it's likely parts of the start of Amber Spyglass will merge into season 2, so we could see Yorick Byrnison again in the second season. Plus, like I said, he's one of the most popular characters on the show. Usually when I talk to someone who doesn't know anything about this, I say, do you remember the film The Golden Compass with the big polar bear? Everyone knows that. As for Lord Azrael, he's back again and he got a lot of screen time this episode. He's been in 3 episodes this season, the first 1, 7 and 8. They definitely got their money out of James McAvoy this episode, and he delivered. And it's the first time Lord Azrael has met Mrs. Coulter on screen. She has power over everyone, especially men, but Azrael has power over her. And I think Ruth Wilson's been the best character so far, but there's a lot more of her to come. And as for the big moment when Roger's demon's cut from him, and a window to another world is opened. I believe in the books Roger's death is slightly different. If my memory recalls, he gets out of the cage with Lyra's help. Azrael's demon, the Snow Leopard, Stelmaria, catches Roger's demon in her mouth. Obviously Roger never escaped the cage and he was cut instantly when the blade fell. I think that worked for the show and I'm quite happy with that change. I've not been happy with every single change they've done for the series, such as last episode with the bear fight. I think that was a massive disappointment, but this was good. It brings back memories to when I first read the end of Northern Lights. It's heartbreaking and the show done it justice. As for Will Parry, he's crossed into the other world at the same time as Lyra. And they've actually mentioned the actual subtle knife in this episode. It was mentioned by that priest at the Magisterium who works with the Lithiometer. He told Lord Boreal about the subtle knife guarded in a tower by angels. No spoilers for next season, but the subtle knife is the title of book 2, so it's obviously important. I haven't been the biggest fan of Will in season 1. I kind of felt it took away from Lyra's story, but it makes perfect sense to why they've started his story now. So when we get into season 2, it's both him and Lyra in the other world ready to cross paths. I can't wait for season 2, guys. This season's not been perfect, but it's far better than the Golden Compass. They've actually finished Northern Lights, they didn't cut it before the big event, and they haven't watered down religious elements. They're not saying the word church, it's just the Magisterium, but I did expect that. But the authority and all the priests, that's all there. They've already filmed season 2, so I don't know how much the success of season 1's going to affect that in terms of budget. It might affect them in post-production, make better CGI. When it comes to actually filming the episodes they've done, unless they do pickup shots. But we're getting them episodes next year. It will be adapting the Subtle Knife, but it's likely going to take elements from the Amber Spyglass as well, and probably some changes and new stuff as well. Sometimes the changes worked, sometimes they're questionable. The lack of demons at vital moments has affected the series, but overall I enjoyed it. And I want you guys to post in the comments below your thoughts on episode 8 and season 1 as a whole. I've already told you guys how I feel, and I'm a big fan of the books. My only concern is that Northern Lights is pretty tamed when compared to the Subtle Knife and Amber Spyglass, in terms of what they deal with and what aspects they bring up. But because they've already started introducing elements this season, that's going to help in the long term. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Click here for my review for The Witcher Season 1. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.